The 100 Deputies, 100 Kids holiday program was another success this year, and it was more like 100 Deputies, 225 Kids at this year's celebration. Hello and welcome to Volusia Magazine. I'm Amber Patterson. Today's show will highlight that popular holiday tradition. Then we'll see how the 100-year-old Bethel AME Church qualifies for a much-needed emergency stabilization grant from Volusia County's ECHO Grant Program. Then we'll have a look at art in public places. Those segments, news, and more coming right up on Volusia Magazine. Stay tuned. The 100 Deputies, 100 Kids program, sponsored by the Volusia County Sheriff's Office, has outgrown its name. This year's festive event, hosted by 95 sheriff deputies, brought smiles and holiday cheer to 225 children from across the county. Now it's in its 26th year. The centerpiece of the 100 Deputies, 100 Kids charity program is a holiday celebration for disadvantaged children. This year's festivities took place December 11th at the Volusia County Fairgrounds, where deputies served 175 pizzas and handed out nearly $13,000 in toys and other presents. Of course, the highlight of the evening was the arrival of Santa Claus. The backbone of the program is a large group of off-duty deputies and other staff members who volunteer their time to raise donations throughout the year and plan the festivities. Deputies, school crossing guards, and guidance counselors nominate needy families to attend the party. The deputies serve as official hosts, picking up the families in their patrol cars and driving them to the Volusia County Fairgrounds. The program was launched in 1989 and has been carried on enthusiastically since Sheriff Ben Johnson took office in 2001.
It's a super program. To me, this is probably my favorite night of the year. To be able to come here and see these kids who may not have Christmas if it wasn't for the generosity of the community to provide these gifts and the hard work of our committee that does this. It works year-round to put this together, to get the gifts, to get the donations, the Margarita Society, these people that provide us gifts so that we can give Christmas to these kids. It's just a super night.
For the Sheriff's Office, it's an opportunity to bond with children and give back to the community. It's hard to tell who gets more out of the annual holiday extravaganza, the children or the deputies. More than 1,000 toys made from popsicle sticks were handcrafted by low-security inmates from Tomoka Correctional Institute.
The inmates wanted to be involved, and they built all of those toys. And we appreciate it. Matter of fact, I want to take in this film to go back and thank them for what they have done and let them see with your film as to what was done, what they were involved with, and we really appreciate it. And I can't thank them enough, just like I can't thank the community enough. Walmart was involved with helping us out. So many people in the community. Once again, the Margarita Society, the men and women of the Volusia County Sheriff's Department, the 100 Deputy, 100 Kids Committee, and the deputies who brought the kids.
With the party over and the decorations taken down, the children and families return home and the deputies return to their enforcement duties. But the kinship doesn't end there. Many of the deputies continue to befriend their families long after the party ends, dropping in on them from time to time throughout the year to maintain the bonds and check on their welfare. DeLand's oldest African-American church, badly in need of protection due to its age, has qualified for an emergency stabilization grant from Volusia County's ECHO program. The Bethel AME Church opened 100 years ago on East Howry Avenue in downtown DeLand. It was built in the Gothic Revival style with 2 bell towers, ornate stained glass panels, a coffered wood ceiling, and an amphitheater-style curved ceilings. The historical church remains a source of community pride, and it is a place of worship for 75 members who are dedicated to its keeping open for the future generations. The church stood the test of time for many years, but now it's in need of some immediate human intervention to fix the leaky roof and stop the foundation from sinking. The Volusia County Council recently approved a $345,000 Emergency Historical Structure Stabilization Grant from the Volusia County Echo Fund to preserve the church. The funds will be used to replace the church's roof and balcony supports, stabilize the cracked foundation, repair the bell towers, treat for termites, and replace the frames holding up the stained glass panes.
One of the reasons why the Echo Board felt that this was eligible for a critical emergency grant is because there is no other structure like this in DeLand, and that it is a part of the pillar of the community. And if we don't correct it now, then we will lose this building. And this is the oldest church in DeLand, African American church in DeLand. It's very significant in that the architect who designed this church was the first black architect in the country.
Construction on the 100-year-old sanctuary is expected to begin in the spring and last through the fall. After the repairs are complete, church leaders plan to open it to the public for tours and special events. Volusia County gets involved in the protection of endangered northern right whales. The most endangered whales in the world are heading to the Volusia County coast. Fewer than 300 northern right whales exist today, and efforts continue to save and protect the species. These efforts include training whale spotter volunteers. During the winter, pregnant females travel to the warm waters of the Georgia and Florida coast to give birth. This is the only known northern right whale calving area in the world. The reason they're the most endangered is because right whales were the first whales hunted by American whalers. The species was so depleted that it has not recovered despite being protected for over 75 years, mainly due to human threats of ship collisions and commercial fishing gear entanglements. Recently, the Marine Resources Council held a volunteer training session at the Marine Science Center in Ponce Inlet. Michael Brothers, manager of the Marine Science Center, says in order to protect the right whales, it's crucial that people report whale sightings.
There is a monitoring program that uses airplanes, and they basically are doing the area from Savannah down south to a little bit south of St. Augustine. That leaves about 120 miles of our Atlantic coastline, that includes Volusia County, where there's no aerial monitoring. And that's where the volunteers come in. Volunteers can really provide very valuable information because one of the unique characteristics of the northern right whale are these white blotches that are on the head that are called callosities, and they actually act like fingerprints. So if the volunteers can take photographs, or if we can get the professionals over there to get photographs, the photographs of these individual whales can actually be used to document exactly which whale is here and can help understand more about the population dynamics of this very, very rare animal.
To report a whale sighting, you can call 888-97-WHALE. The Marine Resources Council will send trained responders to the scene to verify the species of whale, photo document the whale for identification, and notify the local ships and ports in the area of the whale's locations so they can avoid the area and prevent a collision. To report a whale that is injured, dead, or entangled, people are asked to call 877-WHALE-HELP. For more information on the whale monitoring program, you can visit the Marine Resources Council website at mrcirl.org.
Hi, I'm Deb Denny's with the Volusia County Council, reminding you that there are more than books at the public library. Volusia County's public libraries are branching out to keep pace with our patrons' changing needs. And while books are still the #1 draw, more and more patrons are using other services such as personal use computers, downloadable audiobooks, and free databases. Our libraries also offer a variety of educational classes. Visit volusialibrary.org to see what our libraries have to offer you.
You don't have to go to a gallery or a museum to view beautiful and inspiring works of art. More than 200 pieces ranging from whimsical sculptures to traditional paintings are on display at 16 public facilities owned by Volusia County. Reporter Kendra Lee will give us a tour in this week's Volusia Here and Now story.
Volusia County is famed for its miles of beaches, lazy rivers, unsurpassed weather, its forests, quiet towns, and sparkling resorts. But the arts, too, play an important part in making the area the perfect place to live or visit. Nancy Maddox, Cultural, Historical, and Eco Manager, joins us to uncover the masterpieces right under your nose.
Volusia County's Art in Public Places has been in place since 1990 when Volusia County Council passed an ordinance. And it's been an awesome program and has really enhanced our public facilities.
Since then, 0.05 to 1% of the construction price for all new, expanded, and renovated publicly accessible county buildings has been set aside for the acquisition of artwork for permanent display. More than $1 million has been appropriated to purchase more than 200 pieces of art.
Who would have thought that walking into a public building like the Volusia County Courthouse would be like walking into an art museum?
The walls of 16 different public facilities throughout Volusia County feature artwork from 76 national artists. Maddox explained that not only does each building become a public art exhibit, but the artwork is chosen to have a unique element for each facility too.
It really tells the story of the building rather than being from wherever. You know, it's focused on our buildings. Well, it really depends on what the facility is being used for. For example, this beautiful historic courthouse, we purchased art that was within the keeping of the historic fabric of our community. For example, the library in Deltona, we focused on the scrub jay habitat and the environmental aspects around that surrounding library. And then we also focused on kids and what they would like to see. So we did a real cool addition to the librarian's desk and a sculpture in front of it. So things like that is what you will see throughout the county. Our biggest collection of artwork is at the Ocean Center, which was over $250,000 worth of art that we purchased. We have multidisciplinary art all throughout the county. We have 2D, we have acrylic, we have oils, we have sculptures, we have all types of, we have acrylic glass that's just fabulous in the Ocean Center with the light hitting it. So again, every place is different, and so I encourage everybody to see all of our county facilities.
With a need for multidisciplinary art and an ambitious appetite for quality, Volusia County Cultural Council created a selection process to ensure each piece fit the facility while meeting a high standard.
It depends on the size of the budget, and if it's over $50,000, then we have a whole selection committee that's formed, and the artist has to be able to show that he or she has done a single show, that they've exhibited in an art gallery, different types of criteria. So it's not just new artists, it has to be established artists that is accepted for this. So there's high quality art within our facilities.
Not sure where to visit first? The Art in Public Places program is available countywide and in many locations right around the corner.
All of our information is on our website, celebratingculture.com. And it talks about our art in public places, and actually it's a great place to see all the artwork that we have throughout the county because it lists every single piece of artwork, over 200 pieces on that website.
So the next time you go to the library to check out a book, the tag office to renew your plates, or even take a stroll through the park, there's a good chance that you'll have the opportunity to experience art in public places. For Volusia Here and Now, I'm Kendra Lee.
Have you ever wondered what happens during the winter months when your landscape seems to have stopped growing and turned dormant, and some areas even look brown and dead? Well, you have nothing to fear. Horticulturalist Joe Sewards brings us some insight into the importance of this time of year when it comes to the healthy, Florida-friendly landscaping.
Hi, I'm Joe Sewards and welcome to Horticulture Today. I want to talk about a couple of things today. I want to give you a quick update on our new landscape project and the new sidewalks that we've had installed. And I also want to talk about the change of seasons. Temperatures are cooler, days are getting shorter, plants are going dormant, some are fading out completely. And I want to start by talking about caladiums, for example. Here you see a bed of caladiums that are fading. These were absolutely beautiful this summer. Caladiums are a seasonal plant. They will go dormant, and they are going dormant right now. we're allowing that to happen, but as they are fading, you can see that we've interspersed the caladiums with a brand new planting of pansies. These are going to survive the cooler temperatures. They're going to provide a great spot of color for us here, replace the caladiums. Then in the spring, when the pansies fade, the caladiums will begin to come back, so we'll have seasonal color all year round. But this is an example of being mindful of the season, letting things go dormant as they should, and that'll make them more beautiful next year. In our last segment, we talked about rain gardens and the importance of reducing stormwater runoff, and I want to give you a quick update on what we've done since the last time. We've added rocks to our rain garden here, and this is one of the most important aspects of Florida-friendly landscaping and low-impact development, is reducing stormwater runoff. We've added the rocks. We're going to add some plumbing where we're going to capture the rainwater off the roof, bring the water over here. As the pond slowly fills with water, it will allow it to soak into the ground, and by doing that, we're not only reducing stormwater runoff, but we're keeping water on the property and giving nature an opportunity to remove pollutants and contaminants before it makes its way to the groundwater supply. And this is a very important aspect of reducing stormwater runoff as well. This is permeable pavement. In this particular instance, this is permeable concrete. And what happens here is when the water falls on it, when it rains, the water soaks through the concrete and into the ground. And again, that's another important aspect of reducing stormwater runoff. This is really not that expensive. It's relatively easy to install. Any concrete contractor can do it. It's not that much more expensive than regular concrete. This is a wonderful product to use on sidewalks, driveways, even pool decks. The advantage there is the water will soak through the concrete. There'll be no puddles, so there'll be less slipping around your pool. So these are things that you might want to consider as you improve your own personal landscape or do any major projects at home. Consider permeable pavement. Now we're at the back side of the agricultural center. We saw the permeable pavement up front. This is another example of permeable pavement. This particular product is called FlexiPave. It's made from recycled tires. They ground them up, they mix it with a binding agent, pour it into place, makes a very smooth, very soft surface to walk on, and it accomplishes the same thing as the permeable concrete that we had out front. It allows water to penetrate through, soak into the ground, rather than run off. And that's another very important aspect of Florida-friendly landscaping and low-impact development. Stay tuned next time. We're going to have more improvements to our landscape. We're going to have yet another type of permeable pavement put in. We've also got a tremendous pond that's going in. There will be a wonderful water feature and a wonderful addition to our new landscape. For Horticulture Today, I'm Joe Sewards. Feel free to call us at the University of Florida Volusia County Extension Office, or you can visit our website as well. The phone number is area code 386-822-5778, or you can go to volusia.org/extension.
Let's head on into the studio to join Community Information Director Dave Byron and his guest, Votran General Manager Steve Sherrer.
Well, thank you, Amber, and happy holidays, everyone. Well, Votran, the county's public transit system, is the only transportation option for a good many of our citizens. And ridership is at the point the county is having a hard time keeping up with the increased costs and staying within its budget. Among the steps Votran is taking is to increase fares very slightly. This fare increase will go into effect the 1st of February. So with the details, we have with us in the studio today, Votran's General Manager, Steve Sherrer. Steve, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thanks for inviting me to come talk to you.
Absolutely, and happy holidays to you and the men and women of Votran.
Well, I appreciate that very much. Thank you.
Hey, Steve, before we talk about the fare increase, let's provide a little information about the Votran budget. Tell us about how your budget comes together, what your funding sources are, so we can put into perspective some of the challenges budget-wise you're facing.
Well, Votran's overall budget is just over $21 million. That comes from a variety of different sources, from the Federal Transit Administration, grant funds, state grant funds, the fare revenue that we generate from the fares, but a good portion of that, actually $8.2 million or so, comes from the county's general fund.
Mm-hmm. So I guess what I'm hearing you to say is that When you add up all your revenue sources and compare those against what it costs to operate the system, those revenue sources without the subsidy from the county's general fund would just don't equal operating costs.
That's correct. Yes, it'd be impossible to operate without the funding from the general fund.
And I guess honestly, we call that a subsidy from the taxpayers. That's not uncommon, Steve. As I've come to understand, public transit systems generally don't make a profit.
That's correct. Yeah, we actually recover about between 18 and 20% of our operating cost comes from our fare revenue.
Sure.
So about a fifth. Back in 2009, we were carrying about 3.3 million boardings system-wide. And then you jump forward to where we are now, we're over 4 million boardings. So
wow. About
700,000 passenger increase from just back in 2009, which wasn't that long ago.
So obviously it would seem to me that, as you look at and try to deal with pretty substantial increases in passengers, we also know that costs have increased, and so that kind of forces you into a bit of a budget dilemma.
It does. So that's kind of where we started the discussion of a fare increase, so this slight increase should generate some additional revenue for us. The last increase that went into place in February did generate about $150,000 of additional revenue this past fiscal year. So we're actually expecting that this next increase will generate a little bit more than that.
Yeah, it's probably worth noting, Steve, for the clarity of our viewers. Actually, this fare increase that goes into effect around the 1st of February is actually the second part of a two-part decision by the County Council. The first part kicked in, I guess, in February of this year, 2014.
That's right. And prior to that, there hadn't been a fare increase since about 2007. And what that meant was Votran fares were actually among the lowest in the state of Florida. And even after the February 2014 fare increase of 25 cents, fares still remained among the lowest in the state of Florida. So this second part of the two-part fare increase that will go into effect actually February 2nd will put us in about the middle of the range of the different transit agencies within the state.
So let's be clear. Tell us what happened in February of this year, which was the first part of a two-part fare increase. What happened then?
February 2014, the first part went into effect, and basically it took our cash fare from $1.25 up to $1.50. It took our gold one-way fare from $2.50 up to $3.
Okay.
And so in this second tier of the two-tiered fare increase, it'll take the cash fare for fixed route up from $1.50 to $1.75. And then the gold fare that currently sits at $3 one way will remain at $3 one way.
So I guess the logic in doing this in two steps is it gives riders, and particularly those price-sensitive riders, it gives them a little bit more time to make this a financial adjustment.
That's correct. Yeah, instead of hitting the customers with a 50-cent fare increase all in one shot, breaking it into two fare increases should make it a little bit easier.
And it's probably important to point out, Steve, that you mentioned the full cash fare. There are some other fare options for your riders, and probably buying that pass is probably the most economical way if you're a regular 5-day-a-week rider.
Oh, it definitely is. I mean, we have a variety of different pass options, multi-use passes that are deeply discounted. So someone who uses Votran on a daily basis or many days of the week, it's certainly more cost-effective to buy those multi-use passes because they are discounted even greater than the normal cash fare.
And the passes are good for the number of days that they're purchased. In other words, if you purchase in the middle of the month, it can roll over into the next month.
That's correct. Yeah, it's good for 31 days.
Right. So with that having been said, anyone out there that's thinking about a little bit of a holiday gift for someone who takes Votran, buying a pass now is an economic savings. They can avoid the fare increase.
That's correct. So if let's just say you buy a 31-day pass,
Right.
a monthly pass. The days or the value of that pass doesn't begin until the first time that you use it in the fare box. So if you purchase it today and don't use it or activate the pass until after February, it's still valid. It's
Right.
still good. So I guess the easiest way to say it is if you buy your passes now, if you have the ability to buy some passes at today's prices, they're still going to be good into the new fare increase. So you can get them at today's prices instead of paying the increased price after February.
One last thing before you go, you guys are pretty high tech these days. You've got some options for smartphone users and so forth. Tell us about those for people that really want up-to-date information.
Yeah, there's some things that we're really excited about that we've put into place recently. One of those is an iPhone app. So if you're an iPhone user, which a lot of people are these days, there's a free app available in the iTunes store called MyStop Mobile. MyStop Mobile allows you to choose Votran as your transit system, and then it allows you to do some real-time trip planning, find real-time bus information, so where the bus is that you're trying to catch, where the closest bus stop is, all those types of things.
Wow.
Google Transit is one that another tool that we're really excited about. If you've ever had the opportunity to plan a trip on Google using Google Maps, you can do that for transit, so it'll give you the different routes that you need to take. It'll tell you where the closest bus stop is, give you all the fare information as well. And then coming real soon, there'll be another option for customers that have text capable, so a cell phone that has the capability to send text messages.
Right.
You can send a text message to 321-123 with the individual bus stop number where you're trying to get information on the bus, and it'll provide you with the next 2 or 3 departures from that location.
Wow,
and
that's
it's
awesome.
real-time information.
That's really awesome.
So really soon, our customers will start seeing those bus stop identification numbers and the information on how to use the text feature that'll show up at all of our bus stop poles.
Wow.
So another pretty cool tools, and all that. And there's information available on Votran.org for all those things.
Steve, I want to thank you very much for sharing the information with us today. All in all, it sounds like things are going pretty well.
They are, and I appreciate the opportunity. It's always a pleasure to get an opportunity to sit down and talk with you.
Well, again, happy holidays to you and the men and women of Votran.
You too. Thanks.
Our guest today, Steve Sherrer. He's the General Manager of Votran Public Transportation. And with that, Amber, we'll go back to you.
Thanks, Dave, and thank you for watching Volusia Magazine. If you have any questions about the show, you can always feel free to give us a call at any of the numbers you see listed here, or you can log on to volusia.org and click on the News tab at the top of the screen to find us. Incidentally, you can find the County Council's meeting calendar there too. In fact, you can use volusia.org to find out about meeting dates, workshops, topics of interest, activities, and how you can become involved. And we hope you won't forget to listen to Volusia Today. That's Volusia County Government's weekly public radio broadcast. Volusia Today airs every Tuesday and Sunday mornings on the local radio stations you see on your screen. For Volusia Magazine, I'm Amber Patterson. Have a wonderful evening.